The 5 reasons why you do not get respect is: firstly, you don't respect yourself. Secondly, you're unreliable. Thirdly, you're a victim of today's society. Fourth, women hate the idea of respecting men. And fifth, you let people walk over you. So what is respect? Respect is the basic duty that we owe to everybody. And I mean everybody, because you never know what some mean people are going through in their lives. When they approach you, that may not be the true version of themselves. They might be representing their emotions on that particular day. So it's only best that we assume the best of our brothers and we respect them. So today I'm going to tell you about the 5 reasons why you do not get respect. Without further delay, the first one: you do not respect yourself. You self-deprecate way too much. Many people think it's completely fine to feel disrespected. Many people feel that even if they're not achieving their goals, they think it's completely okay to talk themselves down. They think it's okay to talk shit about themselves. They think that, I'm matter of fact useless. So it's completely okay if I'm calling myself useless. I'm on my phone all day. I'm using Instagram, TikTok all day. Therefore, I must be useless. This is absolutely number one bullshit. The reason why is because energy is a real thing. And if you feed your mind the negative stuff, your mind is eventually going to conform to it. And you're going to manifest it. And it's going to come true. So to those who are wondering why they're so useless and they're not achieving anything, that's because you've been feeding your mind that fuel. And that fuel is working really well on you. Secondly, you seek respect way too much. And this is a form of not respecting yourself. There is a value that everyone has. And if you taint and you reduce that value by simply begging for respect, people are going to feel like he's always on to me, so I do not need to respect him. Eventually he's going to come to me, eventually he's going to talk to me, eventually he's going to ask to hang out. So I don't really need to respect him that much lah. He's doing everything, he's doing all the work. And that is also a reason why you do not get respect. So what does this mean? You're pretty much unemployed, right? Going around begging for respect. The best thing that you can do is find a purpose for yourself. Do something that's worthy of your name. Build a brand for yourself. Respect yourself enough that you feel completely disgusted by lying on the bed every day and not doing anything. Secondly, you don't have to praise yourself, but do not disrespect yourself. The energy will go a long way, and you're going to manifest your failure by your own self. Thirdly, don't seek for respect. Don't beg for it. Respect is going to come if you're good at what you do. And the only way to be good at what you do is to constantly do it. In other words, don't spend time using phone on your beds every day. Your ancestors and grandfathers, all of them fought in wars, all of them fought bad people, they even fought animals just to give birth to you. And this brings me to my next point. You don't have a specialization. People can't associate anything good with you. They can't associate anything beneficial that they can get. Oh, you're the one that makes me laugh in class? You're the one that makes me laugh in the group chat? Okay, what can I do with that? I'm only going to remember you on my worst days. And if a friendship is built on that, then there's no beneficial substance in that friendship. And of course you're going to feel used. Of course you're going to feel like people only come to you just to have a good laugh. Be known for other things. Have a specialization. Focus on what you're supposed to do and make your ancestors proud. Coming to my third point, you're a victim of today's society. People find disrespect funny. And people chase to be funny. People think that it's completely okay to disrespect other people. They've just lost their sense of being able to discern what's good and what's bad. In essence, manners lah. They've lost the ability to tell what's manners and what's not. Nowadays, you could be in a group of, you could be in a gathering, and someone would just say, "Hi, what are you doing? Where are you going today?" And you're gonna say, "Oh, I'm gonna go to this place to meet a client or to meet a friend," and they're gonna be like, "Oh, shut up, you're unemployed." I'm thinking about the prophets. I'm thinking about God. I'm thinking about Jesus. Had they ever had to face such a situation? You know, manners was such a big thing back then, and it was present in almost everybody. But nowadays, people just don't seem to have it. And I would say it's insecurity. They're only splurging their insecurities onto other people by telling them that they're unemployed, only to feel comforted because they themselves are unemployed. And secondly, of course, it's to chase the title of being the funniest person in the group. And in essence, you're just a victim of today's society lah. They also avoid being disciplined, and they do not feel the need to know what's right and what's wrong. They're completely okay with being disciplined, and that's the most dangerous kinds of people. You cannot really change them. So whenever you experience these kind of things, I would just suggest to smile. Just smile and move on. Moving on to my fourth point, some women hate the idea of respecting men, and that's just true. You know, men prefer respect more than love, and women prefer love more than respect. And that's solely because men find love in being respected. And very often, the women don't find the need to respect men because they were once oppressed by men, which is completely bullshit. Because if you don't have the capability to dissect the past and the present, then that's pretty dumb lah. This also applies to racism. You know, a group of black kids could just walk by their white friend, and then they'd be like, "What you doing, John?" "Oh, shut up, white boy," and then they just move on. Whereas a group of white kids could do the same and walk past Jerome and say, "What you doing, Jerome?" "Shut up, black boy," and then they just move on. You know, I'm pretty sure we can tell which sounded more offensive. So this is what men are experiencing these days. They're experiencing significant backlash for the things that their gender did, but not them. They often treat men like children because they want to finally bring them lower than them. You know, the social hierarchy, not in terms of power, but in terms of capability, is men, then women, then children. And if they can't get men to be like women, which is what they're already doing, if they can't really get all men to do that, then they would treat the men as their third children. So you often see, even in a family gathering, the wife would just scold the husband in very harsh words, criticize him, of course with a smile, because everything is okay if it's said with a smile, right? You know, I don't like the gays. You know, they just treat the men in their lives pretty harshly. And especially in the Indian community, right, there's this concept where it's completely okay for the women to hit their husbands, which I find extremely amusing. You know, usually in reality TV shows, I would see the wife talking to the anchor, and then the anchors would jokingly ask, "Has your husband ever done anything wrong?" And then the wife would say, "No, if he does, I would hit him." And then the whole audience just laughs. Whereas imagine the man saying, "No, I don't think my wife has done anything wrong. If she did, I would have hit her." The only way to combat this is to let the women know that, yeah, your gender was oppressed by bad men, but the one that saved you from those bad men were also good men. And I don't think it's fair to generalize every man as evil. So even if you don't feel like respecting men, which is, I think, it's completely fine, especially from a gender that was oppressed, the last thing that you want to do is to start feeling good and happy and respectful about the gender that oppressed you. So although that's the case, it's a bit dumb to not be able to discern on who disrespected you. I'd prefer if you could look at the individual more than the gender. Moving on to my last point, you let people walk over you. Many a times you see yourself asking, not speaking. The least that you could do is represent yourself. Convey your thoughts into words and represent it to the people in the group. And even if it's wrong, at least you represented yourself. And that's respectable. Many people in this generation, they see themselves having social credit scores. The more criticisms they face, the more moments that they are caught looking stupid, they're going to feel like their social credit score is low. Which is a very dumb way of looking at things. If you don't have the capability of being curious to ask questions, then it's very difficult for you to develop yourself. And many a times, To gain respect is to be good at what you do. And that cannot happen if you do not develop yourself. And one extremely widely used word is nonchalance. And people associate nonchalance with not talking and not moving too much. Are you seriously conforming to the idea that nonchalance is what's going to make you feel better? You know, people...
I don't have an answer for that. Is there something else I can help with?
Can you not talk? I'm in the middle of a video.
I don't have an answer for that. Is there something else?
I'm in the middle of a video. Can you not talk?
Here's what I found.
About nonchalance, this is very popularized. And many men, right, who are not nonchalant are trying to be nonchalant because it pleases society. See, people associate your voice with you. People associate what you do with you. Whenever they're in their houses and they think about you, right, they usually think about what you said and what you did. Now, if you remove these two things in your life, you're pretty much an unmemorable fool. Because you can't pretty much build an image for yourself. And nonchalance goes a long way in allowing disrespect to be in your life. Like, I do have friends that want to be nonchalant. I see them in gatherings, and some people will be like, "Stop, you're not smart," and they'll be like, have a voice that's commanding enough, have gestures that are commanding enough for people, for these things to be left in people's mind. And this is the only way that you can market yourself, through your voice and through your actions. Show appearance for people who don't have personalities lah. We've come to the end of the video. Respect is a big thing, and disrespect is also a big thing. I quote from a very wise person saying, "A believer is one who avoids harming other believers with his tongue and his hands." Control what you need to say. You don't even need to say. Control what you want to say. And assume the best of your brothers.